Hello again, everyone. I'm Gene Valicenti. This is Beyond the Podium, where we go one-on-one with the candidates. Former Secretary of State Matt Brown is a Democrat running for governor of Rhode Island. In your own words, what differentiates you from your opponents?
Well, I'm not running a campaign just to elect a new governor. I'm running a campaign to elect a whole new government. So I'm running with Cynthia Mendes, the great state senator who's running as lieutenant governor on a ticket with me. And we're running alongside dozens of extraordinary Rhode Islanders from all across the state, the members of the Rhode Island Political Cooperative who are running for state legislative and municipal offices. And these are nurses, teachers, social workers, the people who've been doing the work of fighting for our communities for a very long time. And together, we're going to elect a whole new government for our state.
Explain what you see as the most important issue facing Rhode Island.
I'd put it two ways. One is generally people are struggling. They've been struggling here for a long time, and some people are falling through the cracks and outright suffering. And they're struggling because they can't afford housing, they can't afford healthcare, they can't find a decent public school for their kids. And the people in power aren't going to change this. They're the ones who got us here in the first place, which is why I'm running not just to be governor for this state, but running to help elect a whole new government so we can oust the people who got us into this mess and get ourselves a new government that's going to tackle these problems and work for the people of this state. I think one of the most critical issues we need to address is the housing affordability crisis. Rents have gone up 30+% over the last 2 years. That's not manageable for people. They can't do that. People are just unable to find affordable housing in the state. So we're going to cap annual rent increases at 4%. So people can stay in their apartments and continue to afford rent here. And we're going to build tens of thousands of truly affordable and green homes so that we've got enough housing that is affordable for people in this state.
How are you uniquely qualified to address that particular issue?
Well, I've spent 30 years, all of my adult life, starting and running nonprofit organizations that have been dedicated to tackling some of the toughest problems we face. I ran the City Year Youth Service program here that provided tutors and mentors to our public school students 30 years ago. I co-founded Global Zero that works around the world to prevent nuclear war and reduce nuclear arms. I founded Renew US that is fighting the climate crisis all across the country. So I've spent my life tackling and leading on some of the toughest problems we face, and I'll bring that leadership into the governor's office.
What's an example of a policy or issue that you've changed your mind on over the past 20 years? You felt one way about something, now you feel differently.
You know, it's become clear to me that we are past out of time trying to do advocacy, which is a lot of the work I've done outside of government, pushing and pressing what's really ultimately a bad group of politicians to try to get them to do the right thing. I think we're past out of time for that approach, which is why I'm doing the work I'm doing now in this campaign of not just running to win the governor's seat, but working with and running alongside a huge group of candidates to win a whole new governing majority that's going to be dedicated to making the real changes that we need to get in this state. Not begging for crumbs from the people in power, but actually being able to pass a living wage of $19 an hour, get Medicare for all so people actually can get health care and not just have a system that makes profit for insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies, provide the affordable and low-income housing that we need, shut down the polluting fossil fuel industry. These are the things we need to do, and it's not going to happen by trying to persuade this crowd that's been running things to do it. We're going to have to oust them and elect a whole new government, and that's what we're working to do.
What question do you wish someone would ask you?
I would like someone to ask what it's really going to take to come through the climate crisis. You know, I think there's a lot of talk about some people who have, feel hopeless about it, which I don't think is right. I think we can dig ourselves out of this. And then there are people who act like it's all we just need to, make some modest changes and we can chip away at it. And that's not true either. We're in an existential crisis. It's a threat to the planet. And yes, we need to, and we will, when I'm governor, build a lot of wind turbines and a lot of rooftop solar and make a huge investment in renewable energy. And that's great. We also have to be real about the fact that to come through the climate crisis and have our kids and grandkids be able to have a planet that is livable, we have got to shut down the fossil fuel industry. We are in we are in the fight of our lives, literally, with this very powerful, very wealthy industry. And we've got to take them on with everything, all the power that we have, and shut them down. That's why central to our platform is shutting down the fossil fuel polluting industries in the Port of Providence that are contributing to the climate crisis and also poisoning the community there, mostly a low-income Black and brown community, and we need to shut them down.
Who's your political hero and why?
John Lewis, the great civil rights leader and then became a congressman. He put everything on the line for the cause of making the country and the world just. Most famously, by leading a group of protesters to the crest of the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. And when he saw the Alabama state troopers armed and amassed on the other side of the bridge, instead of retreating, he knelt and he prayed, and the protesters who were following him did the same. And then they absorbed the attack of those state troopers, the billy clubs, the burning gas, in protest so that all Americans would have the right to vote. But John Lewis did that kind of thing over and over and over and put his life on the line for the rest of us to have a better country. And he's a towering moral figure for all of us.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Well, my mother used to say, don't let the turkeys get you down. So, particularly in this kind of field, I remember that, probably a few times a week.